Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Please remain standing for our alma mater, sung by our high school chorus.
We
you, Mrs. Moore, Mr. Dunninger, our Millbrook High School chorus and band. Superintendent D'Angelo, honored members of the school board, valued teachers, happy parents and friends, and future leaders of this country. Students, as every high school principal across America will say at this occasion, your high school graduation marks a beginning and an ending. And as with every other beginning and ending, it's bittersweet. Now, some of you are probably wondering exactly what does that mean? How can something be bitter and yet sweet at the same time? It sounds like one of those oxymorons, doesn't it? You all remember Mrs. Trout or Mr. Fiorenza telling you about those. Phrases formed by seemingly contradictory words placed side by side, like jumbo shrimp, near miss, paid volunteer, and original copy. Your graduation is bittersweet. It's bitter for your parents who realize that your years in their house and under the roofs are coming to an end. Well, they're hoping so, at least. It's bitter for your friends who know that soon you will go your way, they will go theirs, and the path that each of you takes may never cross again. And it's bitter for those of us who have had the privilege of teaching you and coaching you at Millbrook High School, because we are reluctant to let you step into a world where there is still so much for you to learn. Like anything bitter, it's hard to swallow. The sweet part is so much easier to take, and there is so much that is sweet. Ever since you were born, your parents have waited for this moment, society's recognition of an educational milestone and their own chance to be openly proud of you. Their long years of packing lunches, helping you with homework, and picking you up from practices is now over. For them, it's time to celebrate. For you and your friends, graduation is sweet. As the official line of demarcation into adulthood, your graduation is your entry into what you consider freedom. The world is your oyster, the pearl lies within, just waiting for you to discover it. For your teachers and coaches here at Millbrook, your graduation is also sweet. Today marks the culmination of everything that you have been taught by the many varying people in Millbrook schools who have called you student. It's years of their dedication reminding you about things like your parking pass, internship papers, and scholarship applications, which have helped you get to this moment today. And they celebrate this graduation with you. All of you have walked into these front doors and through these halls and classrooms for the last 4 years, feel as if you have left an impression upon this school. And yet, your marks are not readily visible when you look at the building. As with footprints in the sand, where the next wave comes and washes the shore clean of any traces of them, next year there will be new students who will eagerly cross that threshold and who will take your places in the classroom seats. And they already can't wait. They will ride the same buses that you took, play the same positions in sports that you had, and their artwork will hang where yours does now. What, if anything, then, do you leave behind? How do we know you were here? What is your legacy? If there is one thing I want you to remember today, it is this. For me, the real legacy of this class is leadership. Over the last 3 years, I have watched you grow and mature immensely. I have witnessed your transition from youthful and inexperienced sophomores into mature and thoughtful seniors. I have watched you rise up to set the general positive tone in the building from the very start of the year. Your class has led 2 extremely successful Big Blue Days. You have produced an outstanding award-winning yearbook, shown your impressive artwork around the county. Under your leadership, we have gone to the sectional playoffs in almost every sport. The seniors in the band helped break in our new band director, Mr. Dunninger, and were also strong main characters who led the cast in an extremely creative production of Sweeney Todd. Your efforts are commenced the handing over of the legacy key, which opened every locker in the school. And just recently, 4 members of this class, Jake Higgins, Kevin Sheehan, Denny Tyner, and Reggie Colley, and 1 member of the freshman class, were recognized for their extraordinary heroism in saving one of our fellow Blazers from near death. this, you will forever be my heroes. And finally, your class conduct the biggest and the best Spirit Week in MHS history. The memories of you sitting in the front lobby for the Hawaiian Day Luau as students came into the building in the morning will never be forgotten. These are events which will leave indelible marks on those who follow and which forever brand your class with a legacy of leadership. For that, I could not be prouder of you. This is why you, the class of 2015, have been given the honor to be the first class to have their graduation ceremony on our new turf field. So as you head toward college, the military, a job, or wherever your life now leads you, I hope you look back fondly on your high school experience. I hope that you look back at Millbrook High School with as much love as I do, as you embrace a lifetime of adventures. Become someone great, become a leader in all that you do, never take the easy road, and always, always leave that which you do today a legacy of leadership. Congratulations, graduates. I would now like to introduce Superintendent D'Angelo to give his welcoming remarks.
I would like to welcome the members of the Millbrook senior class, the Board of Education, Ms. Intreri, Mr. Del Ventura, faculty, staff, parents, family, and friends to the commencement exercise for the class of 2015. I extend my sincere thanks to the senior class and Ms. Intreri for allowing me to be a part of this ceremony. Our graduates are facing many changes. Several months ago, Mackenzie Harkenrider and Muna Gu met with me to discuss the possibility of holding their class's graduation ceremony on our new athletic field. I asked them to do some research for me to make sure that by changing the date and time, none of our graduates' family or friends would miss the ceremony. Obviously, they did a great job because we're here. About a month ago, I was fortunate to spend some time with our valedictorian, Brogan Reve, and our salutatorian, Matthew Kyle, when we went to the Vail Sale Dinner. I asked them what was notable about their class. They both answered, in a very politically correct fashion, that their class had matured quite a bit since middle school. I had heard this about the class of 2015, but truth be known, I hear even more frequently what fine scholars, athletes, thespians, and artists they are. I have witnessed this myself at concerts, plays, and athletic contests. A special and remarkable academic note about the Millbrook class of 2015. Their graduation rate is 100%. This is an incredible and highly notable accomplishment since the average graduation rate in New York State is 60%. Another element of change for the class of 2015 is the fact that you have been taught values and morals by your teachers, parents, family members, and friends. You have been able to internalize these values and morals, which then allowed you to formulate your own personal belief systems and ethics, which makes you who you are. Has the class of 2015 changed since middle school? I would respond with a resounding yes. Over the years of your educational journey at Millbrook, your experience have allowed you to hone your talents in a way that have allowed you to mature. Your accomplishments have been a source of pride for the Millbrook community. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Your family and friends have been there in the past to support you and encourage you, and they will be there for you in the future. Thank you to the parents, family, and friends of our senior class for all you have done over the years. It is usually customary to quote a well-known person with wisdom when giving a speech. The person I'm going to quote has wisdom and is on her way to becoming a well-known. She is the president of the Millbrook class of 2015, Mackenzie Harkenrider. Mackenzie knows her class well, and at the senior award ceremony, she referenced the Journey song, "Don't Stop Believing," and she encouraged her classmate to follow those words. I'm going to reinforce Mackenzie's words and add the following. To the Millbrook class of 2015, Keep reaching for the stars. Keep your feet on the ground and know that your family and friends will always have your back. Look towards the past to help lead you into the future. My sincere congratulations and best wishes for success in all your future endeavors. Thank you. This is an unscripted moment, but I wasn't sure where to put this in, but there were two people really keenly involved in having this ceremony up here. The brains behind this is standing to my left, to your right, Mrs. Sandy Entreri. So I want to thank her for all her hard work doing this. Now, besides the brains, you always need the brawn, and he's probably hiding somewhere, but Mike Ragusa, who is our interim director of facilities, he had the vision of how to set this all up. So let's thank Mr. Mike Ragusa. Yeah, he's hiding, he's shy, not really. The last thing I want to say is that we all know when I was talking about change, I was going to have a paragraph, I took it out, but I decided I'm going to mention this. It's been my extreme pleasure to work with this lady to my left for the past 3 years. She's a visionary, she loves kids, and she's had a tremendous positive impact on Millbrook. My hat goes off to Ms. Sandra Entreri. We'll miss her.
Oh, that's nice. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the Student Council President, Mackenzie Harkenrider.
Good evening, Millbrook administration, faculty, staff, family, friends, guests, and most importantly, my fellow graduates of the class of 2015. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Mackenzie Harkenrider and the president of our school's student council. I am honored to speak with you tonight and share our story. As soon-to-be high school graduates, if asked what the purpose of education is, I guarantee you we'd all nervously look around, hoping someone, maybe Brogan or Kiara, will step up and answer. Why is something so many of us revolve our lives around so hard to define? For 9 months, we sit in a classroom getting this education. However, what we are doing is not purely academic. It's a life education as well. As freshmen, we quickly learned to stay to the right side of the hallway, that the seniors were not as scary as they were in movies, and no one breaks out into song like they did in High School Musical. As sophomores, we learned that you really did need to do your homework, but we looked back at freshman year and prayed we were not that annoying. As juniors, we rolled our eyes every time an adult mentioned college or our future. We looked to all the seniors that suddenly had senioritis, but we realized that junioritis was also a thing. Luckily, we had the summers between all these years to take a break from academics and make unforgettable memories with our friends. Then we started senior year. The future was all anybody talked about. We dreaded getting together with relatives, especially Olivia, because she'd have to wear something other than leggings and a sweatshirt. And because you knew you were going to be asked the question. Or maybe there's a few we all know I'm talking about. Number 1, what do you want to do when you grow up? Number 2, what are you going to do next year? College, work. And number 3, how's that boyfriend or girlfriend of yours? If you're like me, you didn't know till about a month ago what you were doing next year, and that significant other was never existent. But we all figured out our answers to these questions on our own, but as a class, this is the year that we became the closest. Don't forget Code Bravo. Now before I go on, my class knows that I love to take selfies. So I have my selfie stick and I just wanted to take a selfie with all of you guys really fast. So if you just hold on. Everyone smile! Now over here. I brought it to prom and everything. I love taking selfies. Okay, so we're all pushed to think about what we're going to do with our lives next year as we leave the comfort of high school. Some of us choose the path of continuing school, and after drafting, redrafting, and probably drafting again, shout out to Miss Bruno for always editing my stuff. Holla. We finished our college essays and sent in our Common App. Then impatiently waited for a big envelope in the mail that would decide where we'd end up. While others of us chose to go to the workforce or to continue the trade that they may have learned through our BOCES program. There are some of our classmates, Michael DeCarmo, Jacob Higgins, Matt Fossey, and CJ Sines, that deserve our recognition as the brave who will risk their lives and join our military. No matter where our lives go next year, we all formed roots here at Millbrook that will never go away. For many of us, our bonds began way back in 2002 at Elm Drive. Let's take it back a little. This is when myself, along with Angela, Christiana, Antonia, Rachel Hansen, all joined Girl Scouts. Some of us, including Angelina, started playing Town of Washington soccer, and Brandon Colley always showed up to practice with his work boots on. Then at our first grade Thanksgiving, we all made hats with feathers and got to eat a big lunch together. Second grade came and we all dominated in the snowflake run and called John Shanks John John. At Alden Place, we knew we were growing up in the world when we had to take the dreaded fitness test. Yet some of us, me, took them way too serious. Third grade was the year that Grace married Ryan Seacrest in Miss Nerf's class. In fourth, Caroline and Liam Welling were our science fair winners. Alec Navarro dressed up on Halloween as a tough football player, and Corey always sang his Black Viper song. In fifth grade, if you weren't in Mr. Yeager's class, you were so jealous that you didn't get to go camping. Justin Bennett loved collecting rocks, and Alex Sewell loved the movie Flicka. Next came the middle school. For many of us, this was a scary new step. In sixth grade, we all began joining clubs or intramurals, like Kara and Tessa, who joined art club. Seventh grade, Eve started playing softball, Giselle began soccer, along with many others who began their athletic careers, and everyone was reading Twilight. If you weren't doing sports, you were involved in music, like Elizabeth Olivencia and Emily Foss, who went to All County. Our final year in the middle school involved traveling to Washington, D.C., having photo shoots on Cecilia's camera every day at lunch, and on Twin Day, Sandia was twins with her sister. Our middle school superlatives said that Caitlin Halverson was most artistic and Meredith was the happiest. We grew up and suddenly we were in high school, small and scared. But we made it because we are all here today about to graduate. It's incredible to think that together we have made it this far. Although next year we will not be waking up at 6:30 a.m. to see Anthony Coletti spinning journals on his finger, or see Latasia and know she'll always say hi. We won't have to double take Joey thinking he's some 30-year-old. Or wake up Willie because he fell asleep in class, again. Brandon Sanfilippo won't be next to us quickly figuring out the Rubik's Cube. We won't hear Andre driving up the hill. And I won't wear Connor's number 69 football jersey again. Even though all that is behind us, as soon-to-be graduates, we will always be connected. Who knows, maybe in the future, Kevin, as a happy father, will be bringing his kids to Danielle Lesner's daycare. Then as they enter kindergarten, his kids will have Michelle, Meredith, and Garrett as teachers. His kids can get horseback riding lessons from Cassie, and golf lessons from Jordan. Meanwhile, Emily Houston is writing a review of a play that stars Mike Leibach and Dominic, while Sarah, as photographer, is taking pictures, and Jen and Monica are in the audience. In the same city, Reggie is a police officer who works closely with Kiara's forensic lab that is right next to Danielle Fergus's private forensic psychology business. After they are all done, they go to Ian's restaurant, where they see Caroline as a private wealth advisor talking to Grace and Tatum about their boutiques. They turn on the TV and see Elizabeth Roleri on ESPN reporting Chris Caroli's new sports agent job offer. They switch the channel to the news, where Caitlin Ainello has proven the existence of aliens, and Tyler has discovered new dinosaur fossils. As they all enjoy the relaxing night, Cecilia, the neurosurgeon, and her team of nurses, which include Angelica, Chelsea, and Brittany, are beginning surgery at the local hospital. At the same hospital, there's a building attached that has Amanda Shanks and Julia's joint occupational therapy firm. Then on the floor above them is Victoria's physical therapy practice. This is the physical therapist that all of Sam St. George's, the personal trainer, sends his injured athletes. If they aren't hurt, they are spending time at his gym. Brett is a physics professor at the local college, but is at Sam's gym every day after work with Anthony Corbett. After the gym, Brett heads to an engineer convention where he meets up with Leaf, Muna, Matt Kyle, Elizabeth Martirano, Vincent, and Colin. As they walk around, they see Brogan working with Denny, and they are trying to build a new vehicle that can fly. Luckily for them, Travis is an inventor, and he wants to create something that'll change the world. So he openly shares his ideas. Travis's big ideas lead him to work closely with his accountant, Amanda Silva. Leaving the convention, he sees Wally drive by in his van on the way to another flea market, then passes Kendra and I, who are talking outside Jeffrey's plant store. As an ecologist at the nearby Environmental Research Center, I persuade Kendra into letting me have an event there by telling her the event is for Colleen, who just won the lottery and hired me to plan a party. This party